But speaking of fun and games, I was looking into Nintendo. And I was looking at Nintendo, doing like a dive into what's going on as much as I could. And I found a very interesting chart. Check this out. And I suddenly understood headlines I was seeing about Nintendo. So if you take a look at this, going back exactly 20 years, 2003, these are all the Nintendo platforms. In other words, the game-playing device. And then you would buy all the cartridges or download whatever you did, and that's how you do it. So remember, this was all about cartridges. And I remember the 3DS and the DS and the Wii. So do you remember those?
Yeah, I had, just out of high school, I had a bunch of friends. They always had their backpacks full of cartridges for the 3DS or whatever it is. And then in college, in the dorm room, we would play Wii tennis. And we would accidentally break everything because we kept swinging the sticks around. Yeah, you remember
people playing Wii. That's where you have the controller and you're playing tennis like this, and you move over here, move over there, and whoop, there goes a lamp, or you just broke something on a shelf or something. I had friends do that. Also had friends lose the controller.
Yeah, it goes flying, and there's a hole in the wall.
And then the controller goes flying as far as the wire would let it, and later they were wireless, and it's like, yep, there it goes. So back to the chart. So take a look at this. So Nintendo was building this mountain of success. The GameCube, the Game Boy, the DS, the 3DS. And you see there's very natural life cycles. It gets issued, it's very popular, and then it has its retreat. And it's a product life cycle called introduction, growth, peak, and then roll off or maturity, and then the next one comes up. And you saw there's the Wii. So basically, 2009, 2010, 2011, right after the Great Recession of 08, man, Nintendo was king of the games. Look at that. 60 million units a year. Then that all rolls down, DS rolls down, and then they're on Switch. But look at what has happened the last 3 years on Switch. And so it looks like they peaked in 21, and it doesn't look like anything's coming behind it. So this is an example of where a company suffers a product drought. And I'd be willing to bet that somewhere at Nintendo, and here's something for you. If you work at your own company, you have a company that you've started, and you're looking at your products, you have to pay attention. There will be an introduction, there will be growth, there will be a peak, maybe version 2, version 3, and then it rolls down. It does that way with Facebook. It's happened that way with Snapchat. All of the platforms experience it. And it's worse if you're selling a hardware platform that makes up big dollars for you. Well, so you can even go look and see what happens with Apple. Like, Kellyanne, you know what? They said the new Apple iPhone 15 is 1/4 of 1 ounce lighter, but everything else is roughly the same. So if your battery life has gone to crap, which is and some people say there's these clever things that happen when they do software updates. I know my battery on mine, I have a 14, and the battery on mine, long about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, I got to be plugging it in, even though it's a full charge in the morning, and I've got the screen dim and all the things you're supposed to do to save yourself energy on there. The iPhones have the same introduction curve. So what's the lesson for us? The lesson for us, if you're in a product-based company and you're just starting out and you haven't had this yet, you can't automatically assume in the spreadsheet, we'll grow 5% next year and 5% next year and 5% next year. Or worse, I've seen what's called the familiar hockey stick. 5%, 7%, 10%, 20% over a course of quarters because, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, because your product is so great and people are going to love it so much, it's just going to go. Be careful, because you get caught out. Just like right now, I think Nintendo's about to get caught out. They talk about new products, talk about stuff, haven't seen them yet. So now they got the Switch, and you look at the units they're selling. From 2017, they had a real lull. And then the Switch came out. It hasn't exactly been the savior of the city. It's taken them back to 30 million a year, but that's a far cry from the 40, 50, 60 million a year that they were cranking out from 08, 09, 10, 11, 5-year span there. They don't, I think they did in excess of 200 million devices. 200 million devices. There's 330 million people in the United States right now. That's like a device for 66% of us. So this is big, big numbers now, but you can see what's happening to them. And the same thing, you need to be careful. If you've got product life cycle, you need to plan it out and be ready, because life is going to change. Life cycles come and go, and you will be part of it. And it's amazing. I talk to entrepreneurs from time to time that don't think about this. And I said, well, you know, how's the app doing? Oh, I did this app. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good last year. It's a little softer now. Well, maybe there's nothing wrong. It's just you've had your peak, and now what you have to do, you didn't go viral, or it was a standard growth, and now you gotta go push and see if you can go further with it.